That last scene, that wasn't just a plot twist. That was war being declared. If you thought BMF was slowing down, episode 6 just hit the gas hard. Let's talk about it. This episode didn't waste a single second. From the first scene, you could feel the pressure rising. It's like everybody's moving with one eye over their shoulder, and nobody's safe, not even Meech. This wasn't just another setup episode. This one felt like the combi for a full-on storm. Every conversation had tension behind it. Every deal looked like it could fall apart in seconds. If you're like me, you probably watched the whole thing with your jaw halfway open. And that last 5 minutes, straight up cold. Let's talk about Meech for a second. He's walking a tightrope. On one side, he's building a new vision, a bigger empire. But on the other side, he's dragging along every grudge, every unfinished problem, every snake in the grass. And this episode showed that clearer than ever. When he sat down with the new Connect, you could feel the power shift. He wasn't just trying to move weight. He was moving with strategy. But trust me, the streets don't care about strategy. They care about survival. And Meech just made some enemies a little too uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Terry's playing a dangerous game too. He's trying to hold down the business, protect his family, and keep his hands clean. But that's not how this world works. Episode 6 gave us a clear reminder. In BMF's world, loyalty comes with a price, and sometimes it costs everything. There was one moment where Terry had to make a choice. Trust someone he's unsure of, or walk away and lose the deal. He went with his gut, and I'm telling you right now, that decision is gonna come back to bite him. One thing I really liked about this episode was how they used silence. Not everything was said out loud, but it was all understood. The looks characters gave each other, the hesitation before pulling the trigger on a plan. It felt like something big is brewing, and this episode just started lighting the fuse. We're not just watching a drug story anymore. We're watching a chess match, where every piece is out for itself. Now, let's not forget the streets. In episode 6, the block is talking. Word travels fast, and Meech's moves are making waves. Some people are scared, some people are plotting, and a few. They're just waiting for him to slip. We saw the quiet setup scene with the old rival. You know the one. That wasn't filler. That was a warning. Someone's coming for the crown. And the worst part, it's probably someone we already know. So yeah, this episode hit different. Not a lot of shootouts. Not a lot of loud drama. But the vibes were heavy. You could feel the pressure in every scene, like something's about to explode. And when it does, it's not gonna be clean. Meech has too many moving parts, too many enemies in disguise, and too many people looking for a payday. This episode made that crystal clear. Alright, let's break down some of the biggest moments in episode 6, the kind of scenes that stay with you even after the credits roll. First off, we gotta talk about Meech's meeting with the new Connect. Now, this wasn't just another pass the product scene. No, this was a real power move. Meech came into that room calm, confident, and dangerous. The way he handled the conversation, that's not the same Meech we met back in season 1. He's grown into this leader who doesn't just play the game, he flips the board over if he has to. You could tell the new Connect respected him. But let's be real, respect in this world is just one wrong move away from turning into a bullet. Then, we had that quiet tension between Terry and Boom. Now this scene wasn't loud, but it was heavy. Boom is watching Terry real close, and you can see it in his eyes. He doesn't fully trust him. And when trust starts slipping in this game, death usually follows. Terry tried to play it cool, tried to remind Boom that they're in this together, but Boom, he's got that old school street logic. Trust nobody, move first, ask questions. Later, that moment when Boom said, "You better know who's watching your back. Lil bro, who you?" That wasn't advice. That was a warning. Asterisk, one of the most intense parts of the episode was the setup scene in the club. It felt quick at first, just a meet-up, a little conversation, maybe a drink or two. But the way the camera stayed on Meech's face, you knew. Something was off, and boom, the rival crew walked in, no words, just presence. Nobody made a move, but you could feel it in the room. Meech clocked it instantly. That's how war starts in this world, not with gunfire, but with silence, with eye contact, with who doesn't flinch. That scene didn't need violence. The message was loud and clear. This city ain't big enough for all of us. Asterisk. Another moment that stood out was Lamar's quiet reappearance. No big speech, no crazy action. Just a quick scene, him watching from the background, blending in like a shadow. But if you know Lamar, you know that's when he's most dangerous. That man doesn't just show up for nothing. And let's be honest, he's unpredictable. He could be trying to lay low. Or he could be waiting for the perfect time to strike. Either way, his presence means something. Meech might not know it yet, but his past is creeping back in. Asterisk. And finally, let's not skip over the family tension. It wasn't the flashiest part of the episode, but it hit hard. Lucille is still trying to hold the family together with everything she's got, but you can see it in her face. She's tired. Tired of the secrets, tired of the fear, tired of pretending. There's a scene where she sits alone in the kitchen, staring at the table, and it says more than any line could. That's the cost of this life. The drugs, the money, the street. Fame, it always finds its way back home, and it's tearing that family apart, piece by piece. Asterisk. Episode 6 didn't need explosions to make a statement. It used quiet moments, sharp conversations, and tensions so thick you could feel it through the screen. Every scene felt like it had a clock ticking underneath it. Something's coming, something big. And everyone knows it, even if they're pretending they don't. Asterisk man. That line right there, cold, ruthless, calculated, that wasn't just a throwaway quote. That was a full-on mission statement. It told you everything about where Meech is mentally right now. He's not playing catch-up anymore. He's not just reacting. He's making moves ahead of the game. And more importantly, he's not afraid to go dark if he has to. You hear that line and you realize this ain't the same Meech we saw hustling on the corner. This is a boss who's already thinking 10 steps ahead, no matter what it costs. Asterisk. What made it even colder was the way he delivered it. No shedding, no flex, just straight eye contact and calm energy, like he already knew the person sitting across from him wasn't gonna leave the same way they came in. That's the kind of performance that makes you pause the show, rewind, and run that line back. Because in that moment, you felt the weight behind those words. Meech isn't just surviving, he's evolving into something bigger, something scarier. Asterisk. But let's not sleep on Lucille's quiet moment either. There was no big monologue, no crying fit. Just her sitting at the table, staring at an empty plate, and whispering to herself, asterisk. I raised a king's. I just didn't know the crown came with blood on it. Asterisk. Now that was a gut punch. That line came out soft, but it landed heavy. You could see the pain on her face, the heartbreak of a mother watching her sons get pulled deeper into a life she never wanted for them. And the worst part, she can't stop it. She's losing them to the streets, and the house she once called home now feels like a war zone of secrets and silence. It was short, quiet, and powerful. Honestly, that one line spoke louder than any argument could. Asterisk. Performance-wise, Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery Jr. absolutely owned this episode. You could see how he's grown as an actor, the way he uses stillness, silence, and control to say more than words ever could. It's not just about shouting orders or looking tough. It's about knowing when to lean in, when to hold back, and when to let the tension speak for itself. You watch his scenes and you believe it. This is a man who's building an empire and burning bridges at the same time. Asterisk. But honestly, the whole cast brought it this episode. Terry's inner struggle, Boom's unspoken threat. Even the side characters had moments where their expressions said it all. The writing gave them space to breathe, and the actors delivered. So yeah, episode 6 had a lot of moving parts, but that one line from Meech, that was the center of gravity. Everything else circled around it, because when a man says something like that and means it, you know the war has already started. So now that we've seen how episode 6 played out, the silence, the setup, the power plays, let's be honest, something's about to go down. And it's not just one storyline, multiple fuses are burning at the same time, and we're getting real close to that explosion. Let's start with Meech's empire. He's expanding, sure, he's sitting at tables with powerful people. But the higher he climbs, the more people start aiming at his head. That meeting with the new Connect, that came with strings, no doubt. And let's keep it real. When has anyone in BMF ever taken a deal without it coming back to bite later? Somebody's gonna feel cut out. Somebody's gonna feel betrayed. That usually means blood. If Meech doesn't watch his circle, from his business partners to his so-called allies, somebody's gonna slip a knife in his back. Now let's talk about Terry. He's walking on thin ice. Still trying to move smart. Still trying to play it clean, but this world doesn't respect that. It chews up the careful ones just as fast as the reckless ones. The way Boom looked at him, that wasn't just suspicion, that was danger. Terry's either gonna have to prove his loyalty in a big way, or he's gonna end up out in the cold. And knowing the show, that proof might be violent. Real violent, and then we've got the wild card, Lamar. You know how it is when Lamar shows up, he's chaos with a face. No one knows his plan, not even him sometimes, but when he moves, people die. That small scene with him watching from the shadows, that wasn't filler. That was a message. He's watching, he's waiting. And when he finally strikes, it's not gonna be clean. If Meech is focused on business and rivals and expanding territory, Lamar might just sneak up from the blind spot again. Now here's where it gets even messier. The streets are restless. People are talking, money's moving, the rules are changing, and when too many people want the crown, somebody's gotta fall. I wouldn't be surprised if episode 7 kicks off with a body drop. A setup, a betrayal, something that flips everything sideways. Whether it's from within Meech's circle or from outside forces like the cops or rivals. We're heading into a storm. You can feel it. And what about the feds? They've been real quiet lately, which usually means one thing. They're watching. Stacking evidence, waiting for the right moment to strike. All it takes is one smidge. One misstep, one bad phone call. We've seen how this goes. The real war might not even come from the streets. It might come from a courtroom. So yeah. A lot of questions heading into next week. Is Terry gonna survive the heat from Boom? Is Lamar gonna strike from the shadows? Who's the snake in Meech's crew? And how long can they keep growing without crumbling from the inside? What do you think? Drop it in the comments. Who's next to go? Who's gonna flip? And how many more bodies are we gonna see before this season wraps? One thing's for sure, BMF is not slowing down. The stakes are higher, the enemies are closer, and the clock is ticking. You already know we'll be back after the next episode with more quick thoughts. Until then, stay sharp. So yeah. Episode 6 was pressure from start to finish. No wasted scenes, no filler. Just slow burn tension, cold power moves, and setups that are clearly about to pay off in blood, betrayal, or both. Meech is stacking power, but the cost is getting higher by the hour. Terry's running out of room to move, and the ghosts from the past. They're creeping back in with bad intentions. If you've been watching from day one, you already know when it gets quiet like this, That's when things get deadly. Asterisk, this ain't just storytelling, this is chess in the streets. Every move matters, every silence means something. And this episode made it clear. Everybody's playing for survival now. Asterisk, if you're rocking with BMF and want more breakdowns like this, don't sleep, hit that like button. Drop a comment with your wildest prediction for episode 7. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. We drop quick thoughts right after each episode. No fluff, no filler, just raw reactions and real analysis. Asterisk,